People live in some of the strangest places you can imagine. From homes built on cliff edges to villages hidden deep in caves, these are not just stories, but real lives people are living even today. Let's take a look at the most bizarre places where people still call home. Number 20. Kotzky Pillar. High above the ground in western Georgia, there stands a giant limestone rock called the Kotzky Pillar, rising more than 130 feet like a tower touching the sky. What makes it even more unbelievable is the tiny ancient church built right on its peak, one of the most isolated places of worship in the whole world. This church, built between the 6th and 8th century and dedicated to a monk named Maximus the Confessor, can only be reached after a tough journey by car or bus, followed by a dangerous 20-minute climb up a steep trail. Inside the church are hermit cells, a burial chamber, and even a wine cellar, showing that life here was once very real. For centuries, monks have risked their lives climbing this pillar every day just to pray, and only men, mainly monks, have ever been allowed at the top. It may seem lonely and even boring, but to those monks, this pillar isn't just a rock, it's a spiritual home in the sky. Naypyi Daw. Strange things happen when a city is built for millions, but barely anyone shows up. That's exactly the case with Naypyi Daw, the official capital of Myanmar. This massive city, 4 times bigger than London, was planned to replace the old capital Yangon, and it officially took over in November 2015. But here's the eerie twist. Despite claims of 1 million people living there, the wide 20-lane highways are almost empty, and pictures show roads where 1 or 2 cars quietly pass by. You'll find shopping malls, fancy hotels, parks, and museums, yet the silence makes it feel more like a post-apocalyptic movie set than a lively capital. It's modern, it's huge, but it's so empty that walking through it feels spooky and fascinating at the same time.
San Pedro Prison. Deep inside Bolivia, there's a prison that feels more like a hidden city than a jail. San Pedro Prison in La Paz is not controlled by guards, but by the prisoners themselves, and they rule with their own brutal laws. Inside these walls, inmates buy or rent their own rooms. Some even live with their families, and jobs exist just like outside. Shockingly, many earn money by selling drugs directly to tourists who wander inside. Leaders are elected among the prisoners, but justice is carried out in the most violent way. Breaking the rules here often ends with a stabbing. Around 3,000 inmates live here, alongside women, children, and sometimes even paying tourists who stay in what's called the prison hotel. It's a bizarre, dangerous society built behind bars, yet somehow part of the modern world. Danakil, Ethiopia. This place looks like it belongs to another planet. The Danakil Depression in Ethiopia is one of the strangest and harshest places on Earth. Formed by the slow pulling apart of the African and Asian tectonic plates, this land keeps sinking a little deeper every year. Parts of it even sit below sea level, and it's famous as the hottest place on Earth. But what really shocks people are the sights you'll find here – boiling lava lakes, bubbling acid springs in neon colors, endless salt flats, and volcanoes that never seem to rest. Walk through it and it feels less like Earth and more like stepping onto an alien world from an old sci-fi movie. La Rinconada, Peru. High in the freezing mountains of Peru lies La Rinconada, the highest city on Earth, sitting nearly 15,000 feet above sea level. Life here is brutal. Just breathing feels like a battle because the thin air starves the body of oxygen, and many suffer from altitude sickness or worse. Around 3,000 people call this place home, even though it has no running water, no sewage system, no police, and not even proper garbage collection. So why would anyone choose to live in such misery? The answer is gold. La Rinconada sits on a massive gold mine, but the extraction process uses mercury, poisoning the land and the people. Most residents live in crushing poverty, gambling their health for a chance to strike it rich. For many, the dream of finding gold is the only escape from this unforgiving mountain city.
Mustar City. Deep in Abu Dhabi, there's a futuristic place that was once called the world's first zero-carbon city. Yes, Mustar City was supposed to be the ultimate eco-friendly dream, with solar panels, self-driving cars, and even a giant wind tunnel to keep everything cool. But here's the twist. The project never lived up to its promise. The UAE, famous for indoor skiing in the middle of the desert, wanted to prove it could also go green. Instead, Masdar became a half-finished experiment, slowly turning into more of a ghost town than a green city. The vision was bold, but in the end, the dream of a zero-carbon city simply faded away. Tonle Sap, Cambodia. Hidden in the Siem Reap region of Cambodia lies Tonle Sap, the largest freshwater lake in Southeast Asia. And it's nothing like what most people expect. More than 1 million people actually live on this lake, not just around it, but right on its surface in floating houses and boats. The lake is alive with over 200 species of fish, making it one of the richest fishing grounds in the world. And that's the reason why so many families built their entire lives here. Small floating villages dot the water, and one of them, called Chong Kenyes, is home to nearly 1,000 families who survive entirely on the lake. But behind this unique way of life is a sad truth. The tourist industry often exploits these people, turning their daily struggles into a show for outsiders without giving anything back. Yet despite the challenges, Tonle Sap remains a place where water itself has become home.
Caleta Tortel. Deep in the wildlands of Patagonia, there's a tiny town called Caleta Tortel, home to only about 320 people. For most of its history, this place was completely cut off from the world. No roads in, no roads out, and not a single car in sight. Even today, you won't find cars here because the entire town is built on wooden boardwalks clinging to the hillside. What makes it even stranger is how empty it feels. No pubs, no hotels, no visitor spots at all, because for decades, no one ever came, and almost no one ever left. It's like a hidden village frozen in time, quiet, isolated, and just a little bit eerie. Matmata. Deep in southern Tunisia, on the edge of the Sahara Desert, lies a place that looks like it belongs to another world. This is Matmata, a town where homes are not built above ground, but carved deep into the earth itself. For centuries, the indigenous people here have lived in these underground dwellings, a clever solution in a land with little wood or stone and scorching desert heat. Each house is built around a sunken courtyard, often with a small well, and from there tunnels lead into different rooms and chambers. The cool underground keeps families safe from the burning sun, while the design connects generations to their ancient traditions. Today, many of these homes are still inhabited, while others draw curious travelers from around the world who come to see this living piece of history hidden beneath the desert sands. Manshiat Nasser. Hidden on the edge of Cairo lies the place the world calls Garbage City, and its story is both strange and fascinating. This slum, officially known as Manshiat Nasser, survives on something most people throw away: trash. Cairo produces mountains of garbage every day, and here it all arrives. Families living in this tough neighborhood built an entire economy around collecting, sorting, and recycling waste. Each household focuses on certain materials: plastic, glass, paper, or metal, turning piles of rubbish into something they can sell. With poor infrastructure, no clean water, no sewage system, and hardly any electricity, life here is incredibly hard. Yet the people known as Zabalin, meaning garbage collectors, manage to process nearly 14,000 tons of waste daily, making Garbage City not just a slum, but also the beating heart of Cairo's recycling system.
The Villages, Florida. Let me take you to the Villages in Florida, a place that looks like the dream retirement spot with sunny golf courses, pickleball matches, and concerts where Kenny G often sets the mood. Around 150,000 people live here, most of them above 55, and no one under 19 is even allowed to stay. At first glance, it feels like the world's biggest retirement village with baseball caps, fanny packs, and shuffleboard games. But behind the cheerful smiles and quiet streets, there's a wild twist. The seniors here aren't just busy with golf clubs and card games, they're making headlines for skyrocketing cases of STIs and whispers of swinging parties. People joke that it's less about age slowing them down and more about proving they still have endless energy. Whatever they're up to, one thing's for sure, life in the villages is anything but boring.
Jaisalmer Fort. Step inside Jaisalmer Fort in Rajasthan and you'll find something truly unusual, a living, breathing city hidden inside ancient golden walls. Unlike most forts in India that are only tourist spots, this one is packed with real life. Families still live here, kids play cricket in narrow cobbled lanes, and shopkeepers sell their goods while tourists wander with cameras in hand. Built in 1156, this fort rises 250 feet high and is guarded by 99 mighty bastions, most added during the 1600s. Inside, you'll find the Royal Raj Mahal, beautiful temples, hotels, restaurants, and even a museum. What makes it magical is that 1/4 of Jaisalmer's population actually calls this place home, sharing their daily life with curious visitors. Now think about it. How would it feel to live inside a world-famous tourist attraction surrounded by strangers clicking photos every day? Hanging Temple, China. High above the ground, there stands a temple that looks like it's floating on the side of a cliff. This is the Hanging Temple of China, built over 1,500 years ago, about 246 feet above the ground. At first glance, it feels like it could fall any moment, but strong oak beams drilled deep into the rock have kept it standing for centuries. What makes this place even more unique is that it's the only temple in China that blends three great teachings together: Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. Once a place of worship, it is now one of the most famous tourist spots, drawing people from all over the world who want to see a building that seems to hang in the sky.
Slab City. Deep in the deserts of California, not far from the Mexico border, there's a place people call the last free city in America. Slab City looks nothing like a normal town. It was once a military base during the 1940s, but after the Navy left, all that remained were concrete slabs. That's when wanderers, dreamers, and those wanting to escape the system started moving in. They built homes from scraps, powered their lives with solar panels and generators, and created a society unlike anywhere else. In winter, thousands gather here, but when the brutal summer heat arrives, only a handful stay behind. There are no official rules, yet the sheriff, fire department, and even a school bus remind everyone that the outside world still touches this off-grid community. Some call it true freedom, others see it as just another illusion. But Slab City remains one of the strangest corners of America. Cappadocia. High above the land of Turkey, there's a place that looks like it belongs in another world. Cappadocia is covered with strange tall rocks called fairy chimneys, shaped by wind and water over thousands of years. But here's the twist. People didn't just admire these formations, they carved homes, churches, and even underground towns right inside them. By the Middle Ages, entire villages were built within these hollowed rocks. Once known for farming, today Cappadocia lives on tourism, with visitors flying in hot air balloons to see the valleys and caves from above. Since 1985, it's been a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and its breathtaking mix of nature and history keeps travelers coming back to witness this living wonder.
Vietnam. Deep inside the jungles of Vietnam, a shocking story unfolded of a man people called the real-life Tarzan. In 1972, during the Vietnam War, a father named Ho Van Thong grabbed his little son Ho Van Long and ran deep into the forest to escape the bombings. For more than 40 years, they lived hidden away, building their lives with no idea that the war had long ended.
It wasn't until 2013, when Thong grew very sick, that they were forced to step out of the jungle and into a nearby village for help. Sadly, the old man passed away in 2017, leaving Long to live with his brother in the modern world. Explorers later took him back into the jungle to see how he had survived all those years, and his story amazed the world. But in 2021, tragedy struck when Long died of cancer at the age of 52. Many believe the sudden change of lifestyle, new foods full of chemicals and alcohol led to his early death, showing that sometimes the modern world can be far harsher than the wild itself. Sweden. Far away in the cold forests of northern Sweden, a small family made a bold choice to live life differently. Majas, Toa, and their little son Ivar left behind modern comforts and settled into a tiny 16-foot wooden cabin. With no running water or electricity, their days are spent with farm animals, snow all around, and a dream of living simple and sustainable. Yet, even in this off-grid life, they still share their journey online for the world to see. It may sound extreme, but as modern life gets heavier for many, more people are starting to dream about trading comfort for freedom in the wild.
The world is full of strange and surprising homes, and these places prove people can live almost anywhere. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories.